The one with Joey's award is the 18th episode of the 7th season of Friends. This is directed by Gary Halvorson, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And there are three main parts of the narrative, and I'll talk about them in turn. I'll talk about Ross first of all, and then Monica, and then Joey, and the other characters have some involvement throughout. So Monica starts out with actually Phoebe being hit on by Jake, played by Troy Norton. This is in Central Park, and Phoebe is really enjoying this new relationship, and she tells Monica this, and Monica realizes she'll never get that new relationship feeling again. And then she says, and I quote, and I don't love this, she says, "I've been so busy planning the wedding that I forgot about all the things that I'll be giving up." I don't like the phrase giving up there. Yes, technically, there are things that are not going to happen anymore if she gets married and stays with Chandler forever, which, let's face it, that's the only possible outcome for Monica and Chandler. But at the same time, I don't like the fact that she's making it sound like a sacrifice. She sacrifices something good to get something better. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people love first dates, and that, as she later explains, that first kiss. To me, I just think they're always awkward and uncertain, and I prefer when relationships are further in. But maybe that's just me. But either way, Monica is getting really stressed about this, and she confronts Chandler and asks him if he's worried about all of this. And Chandler definitely has a very different experience when it comes to early relationships, as we know. And Chandler says all of the right things, and it's really sweet. It's really lovely. I love the fact that she was open about it, though, with Chandler. She was honest about her feelings, and I think that was really important, and it helped her to see the bigger picture. So not a bad part of the episode at all, even if I don't fully agree with Monica's feelings about that. We then come to Ross, and Ross does what he describes as a high-pitched, intimidating noise, and it's an absolute delight. And then at the end of the class, one of his students explains that he's not been doing very well, and he got I think a 7% on his test, correct me if I'm wrong, and it's because he's in love with Ross. This is Ned Morse, played by Vince Vieluf, and Ross thinks he's being honest and that his student is in love with him and he's struggling to concentrate as a result of that. And Ross really believes this. And then towards the end of the episode, another student says the exact same thing. He wasn't doing very well academically because he's also in love with Ross. And the student, to the student's credit, he tried to make it work because he said that Ned had tried this on several other teachers. He actually has a girlfriend. But him, this other student, he is definitely in love with Ross. Credit to him for trying to make it work. But needless to say, it didn't work. And Ross ended up saying some really awkward things in front of other professors. So not a great time for Ross, but a really funny part of the episode. And then we come to Joey. Joey is nominated for a soapie. And we see him practicing his acceptance speech with his giant, very big bottle of syrup. And he doesn't realise Rachel comes in the door behind him, and he says, "I'd like to thank my friends, Chandler, Monica, Phoebe, Rachel." And without missing a beat, Rachel responds, "I'm fourth." Brilliant timing. Very, very entertaining. And Rachel also teaches Joey the gracious loser face, which I have to say, in the age of social media, is brilliant, because I often see, mostly on Instagram, of people putting the gracious loser face side by side with people at genuine award ceremonies and showing their gracious loser faces, many of which are quite similar to Rachel's, which I rather enjoy. And we are then at the award ceremony. We're at the soapies. Joey doesn't win. He forgets to do his gracious loser face. Rachel is quite mortified at his outburst, and then he has to go up on stage and present an award. And I have to say, it's not something I've ever thought about before, but that has to be quite cruel. I mean, maybe not. I'd like to think that most actors are gracious if they don't win. Just to be nominated should be something to be proud of, certainly in your early career. Maybe if you've been at this for decades and you've been nominated but never won, it might get a bit irritating. But I'd like to think that if somebody is presenting an award and they're also nominated, I'd like to think that they're presenting it before their nomination category. Otherwise, yeah, they might have to stand up feeling not that great about themselves after, I don't want to say losing, but not coming first. And I'm going to look out for that. Well, I'm going to try and remember to look out for that, to see in the next award shows that I watch, if nominees present before their nomination category. I'm not sure. I'm keen to find out now. But either way, Joey does have to present after not winning his category, and Jessica Ashley wins this particular award, and Joey kind of accepts it on her behalf, but thanks Chandler and Monica and Phoebe and Rachel, and he then takes it home, and Rachel tells him, you can't keep this award, it's not for you. Eventually, Joey realizes that Rachel's correct, so they go to Jessica's house to give her the award. Jessica's played by Alison Sweeney, and who I love, and she doesn't care. She's more interested in what she considers to be proper awards, Emmys and the like. So they end up taking the award home regardless, because she doesn't want it. And the final part with this is Phoebe also seeing the award in Joey's apartment and giving an acceptance speech for a Nobel Prize. So everybody, I imagine, has dreams of winning an award for something. And it's quite nice to see this being played out with various different characters. It's a really great episode. I don't love Monica's attitude, but if that's how she feels, then that's fine. She's entitled to those feelings, even if I don't necessarily agree with them, or at least if that's not my perspective, I suppose is more accurate. But it was nice to see Phoebe enjoying a new relationship. Ross's part of the story was very, very entertaining, and just Ross's reaction to it all I thought was very funny, and Joey's part of the episode I thought it was fabulous. And as I said, that gracious loser face is something that pops up on social media quite a lot, often around award seasons times, but definitely quite frequently, which is always a delight. It's a great episode, no complaints about it at all. The one with Joey's award is definitely a brilliant episode of Friends.